It's Monday, October 2. In the headlines, 250 new JCF officers graduated on Friday. Government to establish a national cybersecurity authority. In business news, we have your usual market updates and more. Regionally, direct flights between Barbados and Venezuela. Internationally, European foreign ministers have been meeting in Ukrainian capital, Kiev. And in sports, Windies women lose to Australia despite the efforts of Captain Hayley Matthews. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Cybersecurity continues to be a focal point for national security. To that end, the government is looking to establish a new national cybersecurity authority. Head of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, JCERT, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says it will be established within the next 2 to 4 years. He says the authority will develop national cybersecurity policies, monitor cyber threats, provide skills training, and develop human capital. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is being recognized under the theme, Respond Today, Secure Our Future. For your information, cybersecurity refers to the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access.
What it means is that if you take the basic steps, if you patch your systems, if you make your employees aware, if you do the necessary training of your staff, if you ensure that the budgetary support for the initiatives that your security team, your information technology team brings to the boardroom are provided, then we start to inculcate that culture of security awareness into cyber. That will ensure that our resilience as a digital society is improved over time and we're able to grow as a digital economy.
For Jamaica, the matter is still a work in progress. The government is still working to enhance the security, transparency, and user experience of government digital platforms as essential to foster trust among Jamaican citizens.
And you would have seen for those high-profile breaches that we've had in the past, that we do not respond by ourselves, but we respond jointly and we operate in a context of collaboration because, after all, cybersecurity is a team sport.
Head of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, JCERT, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says several activities are planned in recognition of Cybersecurity Month. The Jamaica Constabulary Force will soon have more boots on ground as some 250 newly trained constables graduated on Friday. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, who addressed the graduates, said the 257 men and women constitute the bridge between the modernization of the JCF and developing a powerful, digital-minded police force.
You have joined the force at an interesting juncture. An interesting point where the integration of technology has revolutionized how we operate. The expanded use of technology as a powerful force multiplier will empower you to serve your fellow Jamaicans more effectively and more efficiently.
Minister Chung says the government continues to invest in national security.
Noteworthy improvements today include modernization of your working conditions to ensure you have comfortable, professional, and confidential workspaces. Our program of work to rebuild, overhaul, and construct modern police facilities is far advanced. It's not complete, and there's commitment to do a lot more in various areas.
The Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, and the International Trade Center have partnered to create the She Trades Caribbean Hub, a resource center to connect Caribbean women entrepreneurs to global markets and build a stronger trade network across the region. The hub aims to boost market access for women-led businesses in the region through training and support in accessing finance and market opportunities. President of the CDB, Dr. Jean Leon, was on hand for the signing.
I think we can equally say We cannot achieve social justice without gender equity. And we can define that as having equal opportunities, equal rights, and equal responsibilities for women, men, girls, and boys to shape their lives and contribute to society.
Highlighting CDB's dedication to inclusive economic growth and gender equality, Dr. Leon emphasized the importance of collaborating with ITC and other key partners to improve the global competitiveness and to enhance market access for women-led businesses.
Our collaboration with the ITC and the launch of the She Trades Caribbean Hub seeks to move the needle for one of the action pillars of our strategy, namely economic empowerment for all. While we know that trade and investment can be an important driver for economic empowerment of women, we also know that the systemic challenges such as poor data quality, inadequate business support services, unfavorable business environments, and limited access to affordable finance, compounded by socio-cultural biases against women entrepreneurs, all of those stand in the way.
The launch event included a regional symposium where key stakeholders, including Caribbean women-led businesses, representatives of regional business support organizations, and private sector partners discussed strategies to tackle regional bottlenecks hindering women-led businesses from scaling up and exporting. Time now for more news in the world of business with Danita Rodney.
Welcome to the Business Report. I'm Danita Rodney. This week's young boss has a passion for cleaning. She is Jonian Campbell of Imperial Made JA. Hi, my name is Jonian Campbell. I am the Managing Director of Imperial Made. We are a landscaping and cleaning company. We do residential and commercial cleaning for homes, business places, anywhere that you can think of. Well, to be honest, cleaning, I love cleaning. I love to make sure that my home is clean. I love to see when I go to my friend's house or anywhere, business places, I love to see it clean. So I decided to start the business because working for people was kind of a challenge, and then I didn't have much money, to be honest, when I started. So I wanted something that was easy and doesn't take much to start. So that is how I ended up starting Imperial Made. It's just chemicals, workers, promotions, and you're good to go. We have more personal touch. Everything that we do it to the best of our ability. We try very hard to please our clients. Let's say, for example, a client is not pleased because of whatever reason they see. We try our best to go back and correct that mistake so that they can be smiling at the end of the day. First, I started with Instagram. I created an Instagram page called Imperial Made JA. I also promoted it. So anything I put on the Instagram page, pictures, videos, I normally do before and after so that everybody can see what we're about, what we've done. Some clients don't want it to be done, so I respect that and I don't do it. But most of the times I normally put up before and afters, and then they can see what we've done and they can view it and they can ask questions about it. My biggest lesson is saving. That is very important to me because if you don't save, you won't see what you're working for. Save, save, save. Saving helps. Open an account. Each time you make something, you put aside a 50%. Even if you're going to say, oh my gosh, I needed to do this and I needed to do that, save it, because it will benefit you long term. Qualities business owners should have is customer service. That's one. 2, communication, reliability. To be driven to be able to do this work. If you're not driven, then you won't be able to succeed. It has to be something that you love, something that you want to do to be able to accomplish it. Anybody that decides to go into their own business, I believe that you should try and do it. Because if you don't try, then you won't know if you can manage. If I said, oh, I'm not going to try, then I wouldn't be here now. So I believe that anybody that believes that they can or want to open a business or believe that they can get the support that they need to open a business, I believe that you should go for it. You can contact Imperial Made via Instagram at ImperialMadeJA or call WhatsApp us at 876-461-0196, or you can email us at imperialmade87.co@gmail.com.
Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Friday, September 29, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.48. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $150.24. The pound sterling traded for $190.46, and the euro sold for $167.07. In JSE trading, the JSE index declined by over 6,694 points. The junior market index advanced by over 112 points. The combined market index declined by over 7,270 points, and the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by over 5,002 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 108 stocks, of which 63 advanced, 32 declined, and 13 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Variable Preference, Barita Investments Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and CAC 2000 Limited. Trading firm were AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Consolidated Bakers Jamaica Limited, and Eplid 7.50% preference shares due 2024. The overall volume leaders were Standard Motor Limited Ordinary Shares with over 6 million units, Future Energy Source Company Limited Ordinary Shares, and the Trans Jamaican Highway Limited with over 5 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, the mutual fund market did not record any activity. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Insurance Corporation of Barbados Limited was the sole security trading 1,000 shares. In regional business, small businesses in Barbados have been challenged to expand their operations beyond the country's borders. The call has come from Minister of Energy and Business, Senator Lisa Cummins, as Small Business Week reaches climax. Sherika Griffith reports.
The island's best performing small businesses were in the spotlight as the 20th Small Business Week came to a close with an awards and networking event. Delivering the featured address, Energy and Business Minister Senator Lisa Cummins urged those businesses that have dominated the local market to look abroad, whether regionally or internationally.
I see Barbados, I see small businesses being the bedrock of economic growth. I see you, all of you, with great ideas, having built businesses and having thrived, like Carrie Ann said, from Flow Business, for example, for all these years, being the bedrock that takes Barbados to the next level. But I also see you as being a part of the international business sector that continues to keep those businesses at home, domiciled here, benefiting from the tax regime in Barbados, but growing and spreading your wings all across the globe and repatriating that capital to grow your domestic economy.
Elaine's Caribbean Crochet was the big winner of the night, capturing the title of Small Business of the Year, the Chairman's Award, as well as the National Award for Sustainable Development.
The recipient grants Caribbean women the opportunity to use crochet as an income-generating opportunity, to join a community across the Caribbean, giving crochet artists promotion to the international market as a reputable organization, and to have access to tools and resources needed for successful business development. Our recipient this evening has increased awareness of the impact of climate change on marine ecosystems regionally via their Crochet for a Cause Ridge to Reef project, where they coordinated Caribbean crochet artists to create a crochet display which was showcased in Norman Center and Folkestone Marine Park and Museum.
This year, two youth entrepreneurs, Hakil Watson and Danae Graves, were also presented with national awards for their outstanding achievements. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
In international business, Wall Street ended lower on Friday as investors digested the implications of a U.S. inflation report for the Federal Reserve's interest rate policy and adjusted their portfolios on the last day of a weak third quarter for stocks.
The Dow dipped nearly 0.5%, the S&P 500 shed roughly 0.25%, but the Nasdaq ticked up more than 0.1%. Data released Friday showed the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, excluding the volatile food and energy components, increased 3.9% on an annual basis for August, the first time in over 2 years it had fallen below 4%.
So look, core PCE under 4% is a win for the Fed.
Ross Mayfield, investment strategy analyst at Baird Wealth Management, says this could prevent any further rate hikes from the Fed.
They're going to look at the whole package of data, so other inflation, labor market data, but it's a tick in their favor at this point, and I think it edges them towards pausing at the next few meetings, if anything.
The highly anticipated PCE data followed last week's hawkish long-term outlook for rates from the Fed, which has rattled stocks. September overall was rough for equities, as the S&P 500 and Nasdaq posted their biggest monthly percentage drops of the year. Among Friday's movers, Nike shares jumped more than 6.5% after the world's largest sportswear maker topped Wall Street estimates for first quarter profit. And shares of Carnival fell 5% after the cruise operator's lingering cost pressures outweighed its upbeat forecast.
In market data for oil prices paired gains after earlier climbing $1 with questions around supply and global demand ahead of comments from the U.S. Federal Reserve Chair. Brent crude futures were up 36 cents to $92.56, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures were largely steady, up just 12 cents to $90.91 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, Barbados and Venezuela have entered into a direct flight arrangement. It's expected to significantly boost traffic between both countries and open another gateway to Europe. Ryan Broom has more.
Barbados welcomed the Conviasa airline from Venezuela for the first time today at the Grantley Adams International Airport. The historic occasion coincided with Barbados marking its 54th year of diplomatic relations with Venezuela. Officials from both the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Tourism and International Transport were on hand to welcome everyone on the inaugural flight, and tokens of appreciation were exchanged during a celebration ceremony in the airport. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Kerry Simmons says it's regrettable that citizens of Venezuela have to travel as far as Turkey to access European countries. He says the island's new relationship with Conviasa is therefore significant.
Our gateway to the world is Venezuela's gateway to the world. Barbados has over 26 flights per week to Europe, and Barbados is open for business. And we invite Venezuela through Conviasa to facilitate the opportunity of accessing Europe through Barbados.
And Mr. Simmons says the island's relationship with Venezuela continues to be an important one 54 years later. And he says the establishment of the direct flight between the two countries through Conviasa is therefore pivotal, economically, politically, and culturally.
In Trinidad and Tobago, there are only 10 people remaining in the COVID-19 parallel healthcare system. On September 9, when TTT News spoke with Health Minister Terence Dialsing, he indicated that there were 23 patients hospitalized with COVID-19 at the time. But since then, he has said that number has decreased even further.
So the reason you have heard anything about COVID is there's nothing to report. Basically, right now, we have about 10 persons in hospital, 5 in Couva, 5 in Cora. And the majority of these cases are what you call incidental COVID. What is incidental COVID? Take you. You come into the hospital to have an operation, we test you, we discover, and you didn't know you had COVID. That is incidental COVID.
The COVID-19 rolling 7-day average has also seen a significant drop.
I got some stats from Dr. Hines 2 days ago. The rolling 7-day average is now 3. You remember in the bad old days, it was 1,000, 700. Right now it's 3. So that tells you COVID in Trinidad and Tobago right now is not something to be overly concerned about, but we still ask the immunocompromised to take precautions.
Grenadian Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell is concerned about eroding beaches. He called on regional leaders not to be timid in their demands for climate change financing.
Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell called for urgent action to be taken as he reported a number of depleting beaches along Grenada's northeastern coastline, a situation that is quite likely replicated across many small island developing states.
If you journey to the northeastern coast of this island, all of the beaches have disappeared. You have ocean, sargassum, and land. Let me repeat that. You have ocean, sargassum, and land. There are no beaches. So what our foreparents had the privilege of enjoying 40 or 50 years ago, we do not have that privilege.
Delivering the keynote on the first day of the second Caribbean Small Island Developing States SIDS high-level dialogue on climate change, the Prime Minister said small islands are in the fight of their lives against climate change.
And this is not a fight about governments. This is a fight about our lives and our livelihoods. Because we speak about the climate crisis as if somehow the climate itself is an issue, as if somehow we need to fix the climate. The issue is about our lives and our livelihoods. The planet will be okay one way or the other. The question is, will we be okay?
Prime Minister Mitchell urged his regional colleagues to consider 3 themes to amplify their voices in a bid to hold industrial countries accountable for the loss and damage being incurred by SIDS.
We have to be passionate about this issue, perhaps even angry about the issue. Because if we accept that 20% of the world has caused this, and if we accept that same 20% of the world controls 85% of the GDP, then the question is, why should me and you and us who've not caused this continue to quietly, slowly watch our way of life slip by, while those who've created the Industrial Revolution and to some extent are driving the digital and information revolution continue to enjoy the high standards of living and face no consequences.
Participants in the high-level dialogue on climate change included the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, officials representing other Caribbean Community member states, and other senior officials from the Germany-based United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Secretariat. The second Caribbean SIDS meeting concluded on Friday. Reporting for GPN News, Beverly Telesford.
In international news, European Union foreign ministers have been meeting in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv in their first summit outside the bloc's borders. The EU's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, described Ukraine as a future member of the Union. More from Al Jazeera.
This is certainly one for the history books. Kyiv has long been a place since the war began for turnstile diplomacy. We've seen senior leaders, defense ministers, everyone come through just in the last week. But this is certainly one of the largest meetings, if not the most significant we've seen, perhaps since the war began. All 27 members of the European Union, only 3 of them sent lower-ranking officials, most of them sending their senior-most foreign diplomats to Kyiv for this meeting, and perhaps the largest show of European commitment to Ukraine. Joseph Borrell saying that the Russian war in Ukraine is an existential threat, not just to Ukraine, but to the European project, and making it clear, as he has said before, that Ukraine's future is in the European Union, and this is perhaps the clearest symbol of that happening, the first meeting happening outside the EU in Kyiv. Now, they say that they will be discussing increased military aid to Ukraine. They are expecting to come up with the new plan going forward for 2024 and 2025 by the end of this year, and they will be discussing that military aid as well as all forms of civilian aid to the country in meetings. We're expecting a press conference in coming hours with some sort of announcement, and we know that they'll be talking about new plans for things like artillery, ammunition, crucially air defense, something that President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has been saying he needs more of from supporters of the war, of Ukraine's war effort. And they will also be discussing training. Now, the bulk of Ukrainian troops being trained militarily for all kinds of tactics, air defense, on military aircraft as well as tanks are being trained in the EU. They'll also be crucially discussing local domestic defense production that Europe has promised Ukraine to help to modernize and develop here in the country.
In sports, Captain Hayley Matthews was left stranded on 99 as West Indies women were swept aside by 8 wickets in the opening T20 International against Australia women in Sydney on Sunday. TTT Live's Wayne Cunningham has the details.
Australia won the toss at the North Sydney Oval and invited the West Indies women to take first strike. And that paid dividends by the 4th over when Shabika Ghaznavi was bowled by Darcy Brown for no score. The dependable Stephanie Taylor joined her captain in the middle, but only got to 10 before being run out. At the other end, Hayley Matthews was having her way with the Aussie attack, reaching her 50 of 36 balls with 7 fours and 2 sixes. She lost another partner in Shermaine Campbell, who was stumped for 19. Matthews ran out of balls before she could reach 3 figures, ending on 99 not out in 74 deliveries with 12 fours and 4 sixes, as the Windies closed on 147 for 3 in their 20 overs. That score seemed defendable, but the home team made light work of the chase, with Alyssa Healy 56 in 29 balls and Talia McGrath 60 not out in 37, taking it to the West Indies bowlers. They reached the target in a mere 13.2 overs for the loss of 2 wickets to register the series opening win by 8 wickets with 40 balls remaining. Matthews was the player of the match for her 99 not out and bowling figures of 1 for 17 in 2 overs. The West Indies women will now regroup for the second T20 International tomorrow night, which is 4:05 a.m. Eastern Caribbean Time. Wayne Cunningham, TTT Sport.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.